Greetings all, you know me as Marius Evander. If you watched and listened to my long first video discussing design inspiration and artist sources, thank you. This video will more quickly run through how to get set up and into each game, discussion of current issues, and then, if you stay for it, a brief overview of each of the maps and missions I have assembled. To begin, after launching Tabletop Simulator, create or join multiplayer game as required. Launch the FTC 9th edition map base from your workshop. Select your player, confirm for gaming. Once this is done, go back into games, workshop, additively load the TTTSCCS1 workshop. It will be in the same location each game, over here. These are the legends. If you've watched this video, you can just delete them now. If you haven't watched the video, I'm leaving them in there for people who don't. Now, come over to the map mod, click the little small I button. This locks the map in place. For different PCs, it'll take a different amount of time before you can then press the lock button. Now click on the world, either the next or the back, doesn't matter. When here, double click the X from the home page to bring up the mission selection page for each week. Double click the X for the appropriate week. Double click the X for the normal or the specialist mission. Click the build button. This will make the map load. Now use the FTC map based buttons depending on which mission you're playing. If it's one of the ones from the core rulebook, you'll be doing this. If it's one from a mission from the Veil, it'll be working differently. So this is how you select the Crusade missions. So your game size. Then the Crusade ones are at the end, so just go backwards instead of forwards, it's quicker. And find your correct Crusade mission, which loads the deployment zones onto the table. And if you need to raise or lower those, the buttons to do that are here. And once that is done, it should also have the objective markers loading in. Adjust the height as needed to see them. On top of each will be the mission card, which you can unlock with L, move it out of the way. Plus and minus buttons to resize it. Maybe Control C, make a copy, for both people to have it on their side of the map to see it easily. Next, for the Beyond the Veil missions, I've had to set up the actual deployment zones manually. The mission cards will help explain how they work. And also, some of the missions need other things doing for the objective markers, especially Beyond the Veil ones, which I'll explain in the bug discussion at the end. So, for the issues I've not yet had time to resolve, check this video's description or on my Steam workshop of the mod for updates on the status of the issues. So the first issue is some of the missions, the Beyond the Veil ones, because I've had to put objective markers on the map and save them inside the map, conflicts with the buttons over here. So you don't need to do this because once you've selected your map, it'll be the correct one for the mission. But this is how you get back to the start, by pressing the clear button twice. Then it brings you back to the start this way. You'll just be loading the mod in each week and it'll be back at the start page. So for say mission, let's go with 8 number 2. When I load this in, this is a Beyond the Veil mission. As you see that grey writing at the top, that grey writing means that it's using these objects that already existed instead of loading them onto the tabletop. Also, having a different deployment zones up, when you change it, it gets rid of the deployment zones I've loaded in there. So let's load this map again. Let's delete these to fix this problem. Clear. Clear. Back to the start. This bug's happened again. So, to fix that bug, if that happens and it won't let you do it again, you're going to have to reload the FTC map base. Hopefully I will manage to resolve most of these bugs very soon. I will also be making the maps available separately as separate downloads, so you can have 20 different workshop items if you want. I prefer having them in one mod. I would love to have a clean, tidy workshop, but because I'm the one managing them all, it makes my workshop extremely messy, hopefully to help you guys have less messy workshops. So anyway, back to where we were. Mission 8. Before I load it in, get rid of the mod, get rid of the pack objects again. Build. So as you can see, you've got the deployment zones up and the objective markers are on the board this time. Now the second issue is a specific one only to this map. For some reason, this piece of terrain is loading on a cloud instead of on the actual map. Simple solution, press the L button while mousing over it. Fixed, and it even relocks itself in place, so you don't have to relock it. So, that's the mission loaded correctly. Was there anything else with this one? Alright, so if you you bring out your card as usual, unlock this mission, and okay, that's it for this one. So, clearing the mod, bring in the other issues, 2.1 and 2.2. We also need to go through mission 1 first. I have another mod which will help with this one, because mission 1 is a special modular extra things happening in our games, as decided by the 3 TOs, Doomed, Fluffy, Harmon and Alfarius. So that's the latest one. The info file brings these into the middle. So jungle is the first one. And I also brought the objective markers into here in case you need them, in case you delete them and then find you're playing a mission that does need the objective markers, such as the first 2. And you won't need to delete them in the first place for the first week, you only need to delete them for the second week. So unlock this out the way again. Now, these 2 missions, mission 1.1 and 1.2, are using Perilous Jungle, Theatre of War. There are a lot of things to read in here, all of that, and then you need to roll for one of each of those. The thing you need to know for the bugs or issues that you need to know to play the mission is the deadly predators, I believe. Something about forests, and we need to have forests, and I am using it's this bit up here. Use maps with forest terrain. They're called Awakened Wildwoods and Deathworld Forests terrain features. Mine are just called Woods to have that effect. So these are your pieces of terrain for that narrative. Probably best to count this pair and that pair as one piece of terrain. This is already one piece of terrain, as is that one, as is the one in the middle. Alright. Also, while we're here, I've made an image to show how to move up these cliffs correctly. I made this impassable for people who don't have jump packs or fly or some other wall of that kind. You can go up here paying the vertical distance. Set your wall to 3D to do that. so 1.5. This one you can't go up unless you've got fly. This one is a 2-inch high. These two here in this bit here and this bit here are considered less than 1 inch, so you can go straight across those. 2 walls in the middle. I don't believe these green trees will count as anything. You can move model straight through them. So it's just the forest areas, which are area terrain. And the same deal for the second mission. First, so 1.2. This one is using objective marker areas from a different map design. I want to test it out. If you don't like them, you can always put these over the top and lock them in place, finding the exact center. Grid tool will probably help you do that. Gizmo tool, you select it, and that there will be the exact center to put the marker on top of. So these will be just that forest, and this forest in the middle, and that one there, and that one there. So there's 5 forests available for the special modular mutator for week 1. And the final issue, thank you for sticking with me. I believe this is the final issue. I'll just double check my notes. Is week 2. Yeah, 2.2. So mission 2, specialist mission. For some strange reason, when loading this mission in, it breaks the actual start game button. This is fixed pretty simply, and I'm hoping to fix this one. This is the biggest one I want to fix most urgently. Just drag it back down here because it basically makes it fall through the ground and it respawns at the top. Bring it down here, get it about center. Lock it in place with L, bring up your grid tool, lower it into the ground till the words are just on the ground again, and that should fix that issue for that map. You'll also notice occasionally when loading in a map, image issues will come up, or object missing files, tile file issues. If that happens, just remove that and ignore it. It's because either the wireframe of an object is missing, so the object just does not exist, but it's somehow still trying to be loading it in, or the textures are missing, so it's a white object. And if they still are, if those things are still popping up for you, it's because I'm not able to find where on the maps the cause of that issue is. Any others before we move on to actually discussing each map and mission? And anyone who's had enough can leave at that. I'm just checking for final bugs. So we've discussed that, we've discussed that, we've discussed that. The very final little one, when you load in mission 2.1, which is another thing I'm pretty sure I know how to fix. I'm not sure what caused it to happen. Oh, it came up, it was 2.1, not 2.2, damn it. 2.1. So you saw the build button wasn't there. I did that way too quickly. The build button doesn't appear when you load this one for some reason. All you have to do is either click next, back, or back next, and it'll bring it up. It reloads it and it loads the build button correctly the second time you do that. I don't know why. I'll try and resolve that one as well before we start build. And that is all the bug issues covered. Thank you for bearing with me. I'll now